Ninth trip to the Super Bowl for those Pats, and of course the third consecutive one for Tom Brady and company. Take a look at this, though. TB12 has set the single-game Super Bowl record for passing yards in each of the last two Super Bowls. He threw for over 500 yards and lost to the Eagles. We all were there for that. It's a really crazy game last year, Super Bowl 52. 466 yards in his win in Super Bowl 51 against the Falcons. Let's talk about questions. You know, we've got a lot of days until the Super Bowl. We're asking each other the same kind of ones going through our heads. What is the one that you can't really get a grasp on right now, or that you cannot wait to finally get the answer to in Atlanta on Sunday?
For me, it's, can the Rams get to Brady? What do we say all the time? If you sack Brady, you'll get a win. If you can hit Brady, you'll get a win. If you can pressure Brady, you'll get a win. Easier said than done. I mean, of course, last year, the one thing that stands out to me is Brandon Graham getting that sack on him. And here it is right here. This pretty much says it all. If you can get to Brady, you can get the ball out, you can get the dub. But the question is, can the Rams dial up something to make him uncomfortable? Brady has never been a threat to run, and he still isn't a threat to run, but he's one of the best in the pocket at negotiating with his feet. He'll climb that pocket better than any other quarterback. He stands so tall and erect that he can deliver the ball to any wide receiver, and he's not afraid. Brady's knocking down stuff here in the studio right now.
It's a sign. It's a Rams poster.
Yeah, I know. That means you can't get to him. That's crazy. The poster just fell down. But Brady, getting to him is something that hasn't been done. But I will say this. He's 1-3 in Super Bowls where he's hit 8 times.
Well, how'd the Giants beat him? Tuck and O.C. and Strahan. And how did the Eagles get to him at the end?
Yep.
Brandon Graham. Now, he threw for 500 yards.
Yeah, but it's sacks and hits. And, you know, and if you don't have one over the other, then one needs to be much higher than the other. If you're not going to sack him and you can't get to him, because the offensive line has been great. I don't want to be dismissive to that. But if you get QB hits, even though you don't get recorded sacks, that's a big deal. And it makes a big difference in the duration of the game.
You would definitely want to get him off his spot. But for me, it's Gronk. How do you cover Gronk? How do you stop Gronk? All of a sudden now he's making plays. You're lining him out wide. Before, he was an inline blocker, dominating defensive linemen, dominating linebackers. And then on that final drive in OT, you put Gronk out wide. You throw him a go ball. You throw him a slant. How are the Rams going to be able to cover this guy? They've struggled with tight ends. They struggle with tight ends. It just happens. And going into the Saints game, I was concerned about Benjamin Watson. He has his appendix deal that he kind of takes him out. So you're playing with the second and third guy, and they still had some success. How are you going to cover this man? Because, again, is he the greatest?
But they don't have an outside receiver. Like, Gordon's no longer there.
Right.
So it's a lot of Edelman and Hogan. And so who do you put on Gronk?
See, I'm a guy, I say you put Aqib Talib on him.
Wow.
Because Aqib has done this before with the Patriots when he covered Jimmy Graham.
Yep.
I think you do that, but I don't know if Wade Phillips is willing to do that. I think they want to kind of play zone and do some different things to kind of try to confuse Brady and allow that pressure to get to him. But somehow, some way, you can't allow Gronk to go over the middle. Because when he goes over the middle, or Edelman and those guys, when they go over the middle and they make plays, kind of gets them going again, and that play action pass is going to be tough.
You can't allow him to be a free runner. I think the point you're making about Aqib Talib is he gets up close at the line of scrimmage, and that length that he has, he stands tall, and he'll shoot his arms. He's not afraid to shoot his arms. And you have to knock Gronk off his spot, because if he starts picking up speed and nobody's putting their hands on him, he's unstoppable. There's no way you can stop him from catching the ball. But you're right. I think Aqib Talib is the best matchup to go up against Gronk.
Going back to the NFC Championship game, so impressed with Jared Goff and what he did in hostile territory late in the game, not being rattled, executing plays. The more impressive thing than playing in the Dome, than winning in the Dome, no call aside, I'm not going to touch that right now, it's that they did it without a full potential of Todd Gurley, like not even close to what we expect out of Todd Gurley. So for them to pull that off gives me a lot of faith in this team, but it also begs the question, where is Todd Gurley? What is going on with Todd Gurley? Because even though they did get the win without him, I don't think that they're going to have an easy time beating the Patriots if you have Gurley looking like me at SoulCycle on the Peloton bike next to where I'm like barely doing it with any torque. You know what I'm saying? I'm just getting a nice little glistening on the old forehead, and that's what he looked like. What happened to you? What were you thinking with that interception in this game? Why? Look, you were one of the best pass-catching backs in the league. You had 21 touchdowns in this regular season, and you missed 2 games. They fed him the rock early on, dealt with a bit of an injury. Is that injury still bothering you? Is it something else? You apologize for playing sorry in that game. Can he get it together? Does he need rest? What's going on? Because as much as I love C.J. Anderson, it is the versatility, which you can speak to, of Todd Gurley that makes him such a threat out there and so hard to defend for Belichick and company.
Yeah, Todd, you're talking about a guy that's 6 feet, whatever inches he is, 230 pounds, and is a track star, can run. So getting him lined up on linebackers and getting that mismatch, that's going to be huge for them. Again, I just think that sometimes you wake up off the wrong side of the bed. I've had a game, I remember vividly playing on Monday night against the Ravens, where I fumbled 3 times. And I'm glad I didn't say anything because I didn't want any B-roll of it because it haunts me. But we won that game, but it was just, I don't know if I woke up. I don't know what was going on. Like, I was changing my gloves. Yeah. I went inside, washed my hands. Yeah. I was like, what is going on with me? It just, sometimes you just have those bad
Did you
games.
bounce back the next week?
Oh, no question. Had no choice.
And will Todd Gurley bounce back the next week?
I think he will. I think he will. I think that they'll get him going. They'll get both him and C.J. Anderson going. But I think after this game, you have 2 weeks to kind of figure out what the problem is and to get going. Again, teams are trying to stop Todd Gurley. It's not like they're going to say, all right, we're going to let Todd beat us. Yeah. No. We're going to force Jared Goff to beat us and force Todd.
Let's keep that in mind.
They were giving him the ball over 20 times a game, and they started the season 8-0, right? So then they stopped giving the ball. He's only had 2 games in 3 months where he's had over 20 touches. So is this a one-game thing, or is there something going on with Gurley?
No, I think so. The whole purpose of from my knowledge, is at the beginning of the year, they didn't want to wear him down because they saw that they were 8-0. You're the number 1 team in the NFC. We have a long way to go to get where we want to get to. So let's start pulling back a little bit. Malcolm Brown goes down, then all of a sudden we have to start giving him the ball again. Right? So really, it was a blessing in disguise.
CJ is heaven sent.
To have that knee injury, the little inflammation in the knee, you have to go out and get a guy. You go out and get C.J. Anderson. He comes in, veteran guy, can help you out in the locker room, gives you spell. When he's in the game, you have to assume run because when he's been running so well. So it still opens up your play action pass. Yeah. And now it's just you have 2 guys, so it's going to be time to get them back going. I think you get 2 weeks to get Todd back in his rhythm, you're good to go.
Wait, the producer's just telling me, we do have footage of the 3 fumbles. No, I'm sorry. You got mad. He's about to get mad.
Don't do that.
Terrell Suggs just knocked you again.
No question. Ed Reed, all those dudes. Ray Lewis, it was ugly.
I think McVay is so fascinating in this game because I think he's very self-aware and understands what he's going against. Like, he is a football savant. When I tell you that after their 54-51 win over the Chiefs, it was 2 a.m. local time, and I texted him, and he responded and said, I'm already watching Cardinals tape because that's who we have to play after the bye. I'm like, this guy's sick. This is what he's into.
He's a sick pup.
He's a sick pup. He loves it, and he's been preparing. So I know that right now our show is on live on the East Coast, and he's probably up 3 hours on the West Coast looking at Patriots tape and looking at NFL history. Wow. And I think he has things up his sleeve. So my question is, what is he bringing with him to the Super Bowl in that playbook? Because that Johnny Hekker fake punt, we can talk about the missed pass interference call all we want. This was the play of the game. They were down 13-0. They complete this to Sam Shields. There was no other option. If you look here, there's no other player out wide. The only guy out wide is their 4th corner, and they have their punter throwing him the ball in their own territory. That doesn't convert.
Straight.
That's the game.
It's not 4th and inches, bro.
That's the game. It was 4th and 5 on their own 25, and they have Hekker. Now you can say,
where he catches it at.
Well, Hecker's got a good arm. Guys, this is the NFC Championship game on the road in the Superdome. That was it. And if you thought last year saw some bold play calls, let's see. What was a bold play call? I think we might get topped this year. I think McVay knows the moment. I feel like he's been watching Super Bowls his entire life. He studies the game, and he has things in his bag of tricks that he cannot wait to use on the biggest of stages. I hate to predict some crazy trick play where a running back tosses it to a backup tight end who then tosses it to the quarterback for a touchdown because you would never imagine that. But McVay does imagine that, and he has been cooking up plays his entire career, this entire season, and I don't know if he's got all the tricks in his bag, but I do know he's got several of them. I just cannot wait to see what the Rams put on the field, because I know going into that thing, the install is going to be fascinating, and he is going to have those guys dialed up and ready to go. Sean McVay, forget next week with all the media and and here he is, 33. Right now. The week beforehand is cooking stuff up. He's in the lab, and that's what I'm fascinated with.
He's in the lab.
He's in the lab like a chemist. He's Walter White right now.
So pumped up about this. We're going to take a short break. Sean McVay's been watching those Super Bowls, like you said, his entire life.